Hey, great evening, and welcome to Wind Down Wednesdays. Yes, it's another Wednesday in the beautiful month of April. This is what, April the 14th. So we are definitely in springtime, and I love it. Y'all, I've said this over and over again. I love spring and summer. I love spring. So, welcome to Wind Down Wednesdays. I am so grateful to be with you all again this evening. Listen, before you start hitting like and share, go and grab a notebook and get you something real good to drink. If it's hot tea or I don't know, whatever your favorite beverage is. And let's just spend a few moments together, just having a great time of dialogue and sharing on this evening. I'm grateful that you're here. I know that you guys have been working and going to school and taking care of your family and just, lifing, just doing stuff that we have to do every single day. And so we are grateful that you're able to take a few moments and just have a sit down and just pause and take a rest and just spend some time with me as we do this Wind Down Wednesday. I know it's the evening time, and for most people, you're already in your PJs and you're ready to go ahead and fall out for the evening. And for some, you're like, nope, I'm just getting started. And so whatever works for you, I'm grateful that you're here with me. So on tonight, I want to just ask you before we jump into this, just to like and share, let somebody know that we're on, and we're going to just spend a few moments together, just having a great time of conversation. And listen, make sure you put some comments in there if you hear something that agrees with you, or if you hear something that you may have further questions about. Let's just talk about it. But as we go through, I hope that this will be a time of motivation, a time of encouragement, a time of enlightenment, so that we can talk one-on-one together at this time. So let me let you guys know. First of all, we're going to talk about caring for our seeds, caring for our seed, and I'm talking about caring for our children, right? Because children matter. Obviously, that's a no-brainer. And as I was preparing for this evening, I got the advice from my 15-year-old daughter, Miss Olivia. So I said to her, I told her what my idea was, and I said, listen, talk to me. What are you guys talking about? Because listen, parents, we cannot get to a space where we feel like our children are sheltered. They don't see it. They don't know it. And let me tell you something. The babies know what's up. They really know what's going on. They may not tell you, but they really know what's going on. And so that made me say, I said to her, because Liv and I, we have these conversations, and sometimes we could talk about life stuff, even at her age of being 15, or we talk about school, we talk about shows, just a variety of things. And as a parent, one of the things I was most concerned and very adamant about was I needed for my child to know that she can have a conversation with me about anything. And I said this to her one time. I said, even if you think it's going to make me upset or make me unhappy, I don't care. My ear is always available to you, right? So as I was talking, as we had this conversation, I said to her, I said, listen, why don't you talk to me about what you guys are talking about? What's the buzz? What's the talk? And she gave me, it took her 2 seconds, boom, off the bat. She gave it to me. And I was like, whoa, But she said, Mommy, and listen, let me just say this before I get started. Because I know that many of us, we grew up in different types of homes with different types of upbringing, with different types of rules and different types of policies, or whatever you want to call it, that our homes were guided by. And oftentimes our parents raised us and they reared us according to how they were raised, right? And so when I thought about tonight and I was thinking, I was talking with Olivia, I said, listen, I have to be open-minded because our children are exposed to things that we were not exposed to at their age. Even if you have a child that is 7 or 8 or 9, and Lord, and we know our teenagers, they have been exposed because of social media and because of the internet. Listen, they have been exposed to a lot. And so I said to her, I said, Olivia, I said, give me 3 things that's most important to children, not so much to the babies, but the teenagers and the young adults. What is it that we need to know? And she said, number 1, mommy, you guys need to just talk to us. Point blank. She said, have a conversation. Oftentimes, and she said this before, she said, my friends and I, we've had conversations where, our parents, they just don't talk. They want to talk at us. They want to, this, point. But she said, you guys just simply need to talk to us. And again, I said this in the very beginning. We were all reared and we were all brought up in different types of homes, different types of environments where, some say, well, my mom, my dad, they never talked to us. They just told us what we were going to do, what we were not going to do, and that was it. I get it. Trust me, I understand that. But what's important to our children now? Children matter. I'm talking about our seed. I'm talking about these people that we have carried in our wombs. We have birthed them. Is that what matters now, what they're dealing with now? They're simply saying, I just need for you to have a conversation with me, right? Have a conversation with me. And the second thing she said was, she said, Mom, she said, when we are talking to you all, we need for you to simply listen. Listen. I need for y'all to make note. Put this in your notebooks. Put this in the comment section. She said, we need, talking about the teenagers, the young adults, they need for us to simply listen, right? And sometimes listening simply means that, just listening. Now, when they're sharing with us and when they are exposing themselves to us and when they're sharing their heart and their idea, moms and dads, that's not our time to just go like, you should be A, B, C, and D. What you're saying is not. No, listen. Take a moment, allow yourself to zip it up and just listen, right? Now, I remember when I was much, much younger, I was growing up and in my teens and late teens, my early young adult years. And I remember going to my father and I would say, Daddy, I need to talk to you about something. And he would say, do you want me to just listen or do you want my advice? And it depends on the situation. I would say, no, I need for you just to listen. So parents, we need to just, sometimes in many situations, we need to listen. So the third thing she said to me was, she said, Mommy, she said, we need for you guys to talk to us and we need for you all to listen to us. And she said, and we need to come to a solution. Okay, now this is going to be, and I know it's late, I'm not going to hold you much longer, but this is where it can get rubber meets the road. This is where it can be a little bit delicate because the comment was, we need to come to a solution. And listen, I understand, I'm a parent, I know this, is that we understand and we know by our upbringing or by our perspective, we know what's best, right? But sometimes we have to take a moment and we have to pause and we have to just come to a solution. Now, does that mean that we just automatically just give them what they want and say, okay, just go at it, you can do it, I don't care, have your way? That's not what I'm saying, because at the end of the day, we're going to make the solution, we're going to make the answer, we're going to make that final decision based on what is best for our children. I simply understand that because that's where I am. And sometimes that means making the hard decisions of just saying no. Making that hard decision of saying absolutely not. And this is the reason why I'm telling you not. And listen, I know. I remember asking my mom something one time, it's because I said so. It's because I said so. I know, I get it. But listen, can we take time and can we come to a solution? Can we talk to them? And can we talk to them? Let me get my signs right. Can we talk to them? Can we listen to them? And can we come together with a solution? Can we come together and say, listen, I know and I hear what you're saying, right? But I need for you to hear what I am saying. And we need to be able to come to a space where we're saying, and the reason why, as a mom, as the guardian, as the one who is in charge of you, this is my decision. But at the end of the day, let's hear their minds, right? And let's hear their hearts. And I bet if we took just a few moments and just ask our children, you know what, can you share with me what's on your heart, right? When's the last time you actually took a moment and you, whether it was at dinner time or it was just as they had, they've already gone to bed and you go in to check on them. If you still do that, I don't know. We still do, right? And you take a few moments or you take them out and you're at the park or you're at the restaurant or you're at a place where you can have a conversation and you just simply ask them, listen, talk to me. Well, share with me what's on your heart. And moms and dads, let me tell you something. Guardians, let me tell you something. You will be surprised at some of the things that you will hear if we would just take a moment and just listen to our children. Now, I said this in the very beginning, that I know that many of us are reared in different ways. Our homes were operated in different ways. I understand that and I get it, okay? But I also want us to be aware that we are raising children in a generation that is like none other. That we are raising children in a generation where the world wants them to think that wrong is right and right is wrong. Right? So our base as people of God, listen, our base is going back to see, okay, what does the Bible say about this situation? And then let's come to a space where we're saying, listen, the reason why I'm coming to this solution is because at the end of the day, I am going to do what is best for you, what protects you, what's going to cause you to have a life of good quality, right? Because that is what our goal is. That is what our mission is. That is simply what our responsibility is as a parent. And so I think it's so important that we take time, especially during this season, during this life that we're in, during this particular era that we're in, is that we are so not just concerned about the physical, making sure they have their clothes and their shoes. That stuff, it will happen. It comes, right? They will eat. That stuff will come. But we have to also be concerned with what matters to them. You know, what does their mind think like? You know, what does their heart feel? You know, what space is their soul in? Because if we're not careful, moms and dads and guardians, if we're not careful, we will begin to see our children slowly but surely drift away. We will begin to see our children slowly but surely being influenced strongly by outside forces, right? And that's the word I want to use. That we will strongly see our children being influenced by outside sources and forces when we take a moment. And this could be once a week, once every week, once every 2 weeks, or maybe just once a month. And we take a few moments and we just take time to just listen to what their heart is saying. Listen to what they have on their mind. And that's my takeaway for tonight. That's our takeaway for tonight. That's your home assignment, your homework for tonight. And maybe even before you go to bed or tomorrow sometime, and when you guys have some downtime in the evening, it's just to think about tonight's conversation. You know, our seed matters. We're talking about our children. We're talking about the people who we love. Listen, you all, I have said this before, and I'm saying it again. If you ever hear that Faye Bell is in Central Booking, it's because of two things, right? Somebody done mess with my baby, and somebody done mess with my husband, and I don't play. And I get it. That's how we are. Look, don't mess with my baby. Listen, don't do that. But what we have to also do is cultivate an environment for our children to be comfortable enough to come and have a conversation with us, even when it is something that we may not agree with, even if it's something that make us go, oh Lord, even if it's something you think to yourself, what in the world is this child thinking? No. We need to cultivate an environment where your child feels safety, where your child feels security, where your child feels confident in coming to you and not going to someone else to air their thought, not going to someone else to air their feelings, not going to someone else and sharing their innermost. Because believe it or not, our babies, they feel things too. Believe it or not, our babies are dealing with things as well. Believe it or not, our babies, no matter what their age is, they're still our babies. They deal with sometimes low self-esteem. Sometimes they deal with being overwhelmed, especially during this whole pandemic. And bless their hearts, they've been in school virtually, and it's overwhelming. They felt just out of place for many people. I was having a conversation with a friend just a few days ago, and he said, my daughter is struggling. And many of our babies are struggling for so many different reasons, all right? We need to listen to them. And so if they're sharing something with you that might seem, I can't believe it, I don't understand, listen to them. Many times they are crying out, they're calling out, and they're trying to get our attention, and they may be doing those things by cutting up or acting a certain way, and if they're dealing with depression, this thing is real. This thing is real, and they're sleeping all day. They don't want to talk. They don't want to eat. Those are red flags. Let's have a dialogue. Let's create a space so that our children, so that our babies can feel comfortable with having a conversation with us. And let's get to a place where we're able to talk to each other, right? Where we're able to have dialogue with one another, with our children. And we're not always just, you're going to do A, B, C, and D. Listen, they're going to get that. And we're going to govern them, and we're going to take care of them for the rest of their lives. And we're always going to tell them what to do, whatever. Even when they get to be older, we're always going to share our wisdom, right? But let's talk to them. And listen. Let's listen to them. Because if you will allow yourself to take a few moments, you'll begin to hear their heart. You'll begin to hear what they're thinking in their minds. And you'll begin to see, where their emotions, where their soul is. And that would allow us to be able to accommodate and to be able to correct and to tweak some things. And so sometimes, not always with you answering them on the moment, but sometimes those things that you hear and those things that you sense, you can take them to prayer. Holy Spirit, help me with this child. There's some things that have been said that I don't know where it's coming from. Help me with this child. And listen, let me just share this with you. God knows them way better than what we do. Listen, we know that we all know our children. We know their temperament. We know their personality. We know their mood swings. We know their ups, their downs. We know what makes them happy. We know what their favorite foods are. We know all that great stuff. But there is a space in them that only the Holy Spirit knows. And so what we have to do as parents, as guardians, is that we have to rely totally on the Holy Spirit. God, help me with this. Right? Because we want to be able to cultivate and have a healthy life, a healthy home life, a healthy conversation, a healthy relationship with our children. And I said it in the beginning, and I'll say it again. I know we all grew up differently, but here we are raising children in such a different dispensation, such a different time, that we have to listen to them. We need to talk to them. And let's come to a solution. And yes, at the end of the day, you have the final say. As the parent, you have the final say. But at least have a moment where you're saying, I hear you, but this is what we need to do, right? So I thank God for allowing you all and for to come in and to share a few and to be with me as I share a few moments with you all as we have this great conversation. And I think that this is something that we can continue on because things happen, life happens, new friends come into their life. And listen, if you know, moms and dads, we'd always tell when certain friends are around because sometimes the personality changes, the mood changes. And so that's stuff that we have to stay on point with. And so I'm grateful that you were able to join me this evening for Wind Down Wednesday. I pray that what we shared tonight is going to be a blessing to you, that it'll be a blessing to your family, most importantly, or just as important, it'll be a blessing to your babies, to our children. Our children, they're our seed. They're who God has given us the responsibility to raise. Most importantly, the responsibility to raise them in a godly manner, right? To raise them according to the scriptures. And so we give God praise for you all tonight. And I pray that as you go to sleep, that God will give you good sleep. Until we come back together again, he'll give you good rest. Sometimes we can sleep but not rest, but he'll give you good rest. And so until we come back together again, remember, all is well. God bless you and have an amazing evening.